So a lot of people have lower back problems, but you've never been injured. Your lower back has never been injured. And you can't understand why. It is because your Kundalini energy is activated, but you got that bend in your water hose, aka you have a disaligned vertebrae. And one of the most easiest ways to fix this is to stretch, is to do yoga. So with that being said, we just gonna keep it. Niggas don't stretch.
Nope.
At all.
Not at all.
At all. And don't be ashamed if you don't. But niggas, that's not what black people do in this day. So we have to understand a lot of our health problems come directly from inactivity. Period. Absolutely. So that being said, we have to understand a lot of people have chest problems, chest pains, stomach pains. This is all because you're not releasing this energy. And I want to break down the importance of stretching, period. Muscles hold memory. We know this just off people who go to the gym.
Absolutely.
But we think that muscles only hold physical memory. Muscles hold emotional memory as well. Every time you get upset, every time you get sad, even when you get happy, you notice your muscles react to your current state of vibration. So when you're mad, what do? You tense up. And then your muscles hold on to that event in time and space. So what happens is, if you got an attitude when you were 6 years old and you don't stretch for 20 years old, when you become 26, that same energy is within you. So if you notice, a lot of people start to physiologically manifest the way they feel because they're not releasing the energy. So a lot of people, if you get, prison is the perfect example. If you look at prison, everybody walking around tense, everybody walking around looking angry. That's because they're holding on to all of this negative energy and they're not releasing it. So with that being said, one of the most crucial, I'm going to say it again, crucial things you can do is stretch, because you release energy from years ago. So you might have had an attitude because your mom didn't told you when you was 15 you couldn't go outside. And you're 25 years old and you wonder why sometimes you just get an attitude out the blue for no reason. That's because you still ain't get over the fact you couldn't go outside when you was 15. Nigga, do some yoga and let that shit go. So with that being said, we have to understand, we talking about the chakras, as the brother just was speaking on. You know, they're critical, because when we're talking about activating them, a lot of us are blocking them our own selves. And we have, realistically, we have thousands of chakras. But, you know, we're not going to pinpoint. I can go right now and grab my book and show you every last one, but I'm not going to do that. So with that being said, you have the 7 main chakras. And then that makes up one layer of your biofield. Think of your aura like a cake. But then outside of that, you have 14 other interconnecting smaller chakras. And then the next layer after that, you have other interconnecting chakras. And this is how you actually feel things coming into your life or coming into your physical being before they physically get there. So if you go outside and you feel like, some people can go outside and be like, damn, I feel like something bad about to happen. Did somebody get shot? All you did was digest the energy bioenergetically before you had the physical experience. So what you have to understand is you have layers to your being. And yes, your aura can be measured. But what y'all got to understand is science doesn't need aura. They call it a biofield. And when you actually measure the biofield of a melanated person, I'm black. All I can do is speak on black. When you measure the biofield of a black person, it's actually a minimum of 1 mile and a maximum of 3,100 miles. So your has an electromagnetic calculative distance of a minimum of 1 mile. And that's when you at your spiritual low. That's when you sad, grandma done died, you probably done did some drugs, and you just at your lowest in life. You still have a spiritual power that can be calculated and felt a mile away. So you gotta damn near be Jesus to have that 3,100 mile range. So now why is this important? Caucasian people have an aura that goes 400 to 700 nanometers max. So I'm gonna do the math for y'all so y'all ain't gotta do it. If you take that 400 to 700 nanometers and you calculate that into 1 mile, it would take 12 full adult Europeans to equal the spiritual biofield radius of one melanated person. So now why is this important? This is why they control the diet. This is why they control the education. This is why they control the environment. to keep you vibrating low so that you're safe for them to exist around. Because melanin is condensed sunlight, and sub-anatomically, we give off UV rays, and we know that UV rays give non-melanated beings cancer. This is why a conscious or a mentally active melanated person will always make a group of white people uncomfortable, because it's not always about racism. Sometimes it's about spiritualism. So I'm going to prove my point, and I'm going to kick it back to the God. So if y'all notice, the pH scale, family, pH stands for potential of hydrogen scale. Okay, so it's the scale in regards to the potential of hydrogen that you can possess. If you notice, the pH scale is the colors of the electromagnetic spectrum of the visible light spectrum of the sun. Because once the sun vibrates to 800 terahertz frequency, it begins to physically condense and become what we call melanin. So this is why Egyptians call themselves children of the sun, because the sun literally gives birth to an indestructible chemical that we call melanin, that you only can naturally be given. You cannot obtain it any other way except for unnatural means. So now with that being said, if you notice, once again, pH scale is the same color as the visible light spectrum, aka the rainbow. And 0, aka acidic, is red. And then as you go to neutral, which is the heart chakra, it becomes green. And remember, the heart chakra, which they all also call the gateway to heaven, is the medium between your lower self and your higher self. You have 3 higher chakras, 3 lower chakras, and then you have the heart chakra, which brings them into balance. So with that being said, as we travel through neutral, we go into alkaline, which the highest you can get is 14, and that's purple. Now, when you look at this depiction of the entity down here, or the diagram down here, excuse me, notice that their lower self is red and their higher self is purple, which is also the colors of the chakras. And the pH scale is a scale that tells you how you bioenergetically alter yourself according to what you eat. So with that being said, your diet, aka die, and then T stands for telomeres, because as you eat, you either accelerate or decelerate the speed, the amount or speed or rate in which your telomeres are shortening, causing you death. So let me give you the science. Your telomeres are small substances at the end of your chromosomes, and they act like a wick on a candle. So basically, depending upon what you eat, okay, or your diet, will determine how fast you shorten that wick. So if you don't eat alkaline food, which is just alkaline is a word for electrically charged food, you're not energetically powering up your biofield, and you're causing your telomeres to shorten at a faster pace. Now, why is this important? This alters the energetic capacity of the chakras, causing you to psychologically become unstable. So your chakras should always be at a balanced level. For example, let's say the average size of a chakra is the size of a cookie. Well, if when you were a child, nobody never allowed you to speak up for yourself, they caused your throat chakra to shrink. So now your throat chakra is the size of a penny. So, and some people talk too goddamn much, and your throat chakra might be the size of a goddamn doorway. So with that being said, food does the same thing to you, and this causes you to psychologically act underneath the guidance and influence of the chakra that is out of balance the most. And we eat acidic foods, aka foods that put us in the red zone, aka foods that put us in our lower cells, which cause us to be on what we call the carnivore animal plane. So when you look in nature and you see animals that do everything that people do in society, aka trick people, they're territorial, they misguide, they're predatorial, etc., they all eat meat. All of the animals in society that are peaceful and that you can walk up to them and interact with them, they all eat plant-based diets. So that being said, all this is showing you the energetic plane of existence that you can potentially share with any other organism in existence, depending upon which chakra you choose to commute in. So that being said, herbivores commute in their heart chakra and above. Carnivores commute in their root chakra and probably don't really go too past the heart chakra. This is what makes them a carnivore, because a grown lion can eat a baby deer and it won't have a problem with it. So with that being said, your diet is actually spiritual. It's not physical. Some people eat according to their taste buds when you should be eating according to your aura.